They have disowned me and treated me like the worst type of creature or animal in the world.
Frustration, that is what 37-year-old Halima Yassin has had to contend with.
They are rich and not poor, yet they have disowned me.
Bed 8, Ward 4 at the Garissa General Hospital has been her home for the past 4 years.
Life in this ward is not easy. It's a hospital, and the diseases some patients come with, I can contend, and I am vomiting.
Rejected, desperate and in pain, this is what one gets talking to Halima. Her family, the people she loves and trusted the most, have betrayed her, subjecting her to stigma and a life of misery. She is HIV positive.
They don't want to talk to me. Doctors have gone to our home to convince them, but they say they don't want to be associated with someone who is HIV positive.
She has a 20-year-old son. He too was not supposed to visit her at the hospital. She claims her relatives had incited him against her.
But my son pays me a visit because he knows I am the mother.
All this began in 2005. Then she was married. She started becoming ill quite often after a miscarriage. Leaving her husband in Mombasa, she sought for assistance back home in Garissa. But her on and off illness continued. That's when her family became suspicious. She didn't know her fate until she was abandoned, left to dead outside the VCT. This is no new scenario in Northeastern.
She was just dropped there. She was dropped and she was left. In fact, whoever brought her just dropped her there.
Women come at the last stages of the HIV infection when it's too late.
She underwent treatment for 8 months with no visit from family and friends. Then Halima was discharged. Back home, a shocking welcome awaited.
They put me in a taxi and left me near a forest. I was brought to the hospital by well-wishers.
She was thrown about 9 kilometers from Garissa town, a place called Chimamrefu. And she went to the bush. In fact, they threw her very far away. She cannot even reach the town. So she crawled and she wasn't feeling well that time. She was very sick. She was too sick. She was thrown to the bush. She crawled. She came to the street and she was collected by a good Samaritan.
Married couples are considered to be in a risk group. This comes from a study by the Kenya AIDS Institute. It states that high prevalence rate of HIV is amongst married partners.
Single females had twofold increase in acquisition of HIV after marriage than before.
A big dilemma faces VCT centers in Northeastern.
Disclosure is a very big issue and people don't want to disclose. And if they disclose, they are abandoned. So sometimes we get couples who don't want to be tested together. They want to be tested separately. And they don't even want to know the results of the other person.
We have been testing them and asked them to tell their husbands about their status, but they decline. He has 3 other wives, so he may have infected all of them.
Patients who are taking ARVs in Mandera, for fear of being identified by the person manning the pharmacy as being HIV positive, request the VCT counselor or the nurse manning the comprehensive care clinic to take the ARVs for them. I was there barely 2 months ago. The relatives would be curious to know why this man who is associated with the HIV clinic in the hospital or the VCT center as it were keeps on coming back to this person because of the stigma levels anyway. The patients who are on ARVs do not share their status with their immediate relatives.
In this community, one can marry up to 4 wives. Some get divorced and remarry even 7 times. Wife inheritance is still being practiced. All these are HIV infection risk factors.
You have seen the spare wheel. You are married, then you have one spare wheel. The man has one lady, a mistress, is keeping, and according to him, he thinks he's the only person who has access, exclusive access to the facilities available. He's in for a rude shock because when he goes there, he will have all the access. Yeah?
Many HIV-positive people in Northeastern relate to Halima's story of rejection, discarded to a life of misery.
The problem of HIV is not worse as compared to people dying of malaria and other diseases like cancer of the throat.
It is evident that a lot needs to be done to address these challenges. Zipporah Karani, GTN, Northeastern.